I don't believe it. That's Clone Force 99.
This is Wrecker, Hunter, Echo, Tech, and Crosshair.
Obviously, we are different.
We're all you're getting.
Ha! We're all you need!
They call themselves the Bad Batch. Experimental Unit Clone Force 99. The defective clones with desirable mutations.
This is one meeting I don't want to miss.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Dad Batch Podcast, Episode 6. My name is Steven Schultz, and I am your host in the pilot seat today. If it's your first time listening, welcome, and if you've listened before, welcome back. The Dad Batch Podcast is comprised of 5 fathers who build Star Wars costumes and troop together at events, conventions, and pretty much anywhere they will allow us to. We're dads of kids from toddlers to collegiates, and we support each other with dad tips as much as building tips. We hope you enjoy listening to the show as much as we did making it. And of course, with us, as always, the other Dad Batchers, your space daddies. First up, don't you dare call him a Sour Patch Kid. You call him a Sour Patch Man. He's Joe Lara.
Dude, every week you send it, man. It's so good.
Joe, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Better every time I see you guys. I tell you what, like, I'm so glad that we have this in the middle of the week. Because the weekend's like family time, you know, kind of get reconnected. But to have this in the middle of the week, it's just really sweet, man. So thanks for not only building the podcast, but choosing the day. Because it's just something cool to look forward to.
Hey, man.
It's a good day. It's a good day.
How was your how was your extended yeah, hump day. How was your extended weekend, man?
It was good. It was bittersweet because, as you said, collegiate kids. I have 2 boys, and the second one left. So now the house is empty again. He went back to Boston on Sunday. So, you know, it's just. But Monday, I got to hang out with the wife, and it was kind of like an extended long date. So it was really cool, and just a different phase in our life, But it was a good weekend.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
you guys are like reconnecting. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all good.
Next up, he's the man of 1,001 group chats. He's our Echo, Ramy Shanaday. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, and yeah, you don't know how true that is with the group chat thing. With all the Legion conversations, it's just nonstop. I make very heavy use of the mute button. So
it's funny because every time that I'm in person with you and we're chatting, like you and I expect like at least like a 10-second lag between our conversations because I'm allowing you to like just respond.
It's sad because it's true, man. Because just like I always feel like whoever's there in person is like feels like I'm not paying attention to them because it's just crazy.
Well, that's okay.
Had a good long weekend. Was good to see folks at the build party that I mentioned last weekend or last week's show, and got to meet some folks that had heard about it and came. Shout out to Harvey, who brought a beautiful Ahsoka clone to the event, and he's making great progress on that. We got a lot of pieces kind of sized out and fit for him, and the build that he's got so far looks fantastic. He's going to knock it out of the park.
That's awesome.
Harvey. Way to show up.
7th listener. No big deal.
He's a cool kid. I've talked to him a few times.
That's awesome. Shout out to Harvey.
Well, that's awesome, Ramy. Thank you. And how was your? Did you guys do anything for the family as far as like the extended weekend or?
Here at my house?
Yeah.
No, I was my family was actually up in Tahoe because they were up there for a Bubby had a training class up there for her BMX stuff.
Oh, that's right.
And thank you to everybody who's been sending votes. Thank you to everyone who's been sending votes her way. So she's leading in her category still with a nice healthy lead. So I appreciate all those votes. So
nice. We're gonna be reposting that on our Dad Batch. Everybody go and vote for Ramy's daughter. Just throw her a vote.
I think it's like the end of October, right?
So there's kind of 2 phases to this. So there's there's round 1, which is the video that's up there right now, and then the finalists from that will go on to the second round, and then they got to do another video, and then they'll be voting for that one too. So
Right
I'm sure
on.
we'll be talking about it again. So, and then since then, my other daughter, or one of my other daughters, so Shayla, she's a year older than Bubby. She does skateboarding, and she entered a video into the junior skateboarding class on that too. So
Nice.
Very cool. We'll be sending her some votes as well.
Yeah, just show the
Sounds
link,
good.
Ramy. Show the link.
yeah, I will.
You can catch him huffing swigs of Luster chrome paint on the sands of Mad Max. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's John Rodriguez. How are you, sir?
Heyo, good. Doing good. Pretty happy.
Are you good, John?
Working.
Good. It's good.
Pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I got it's pretty hot. Yeah. I got a call from Fanco over the holiday to go back to work. So
Oh, nice,
I
man.
did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, buddy.
thank you.
That's Fanco with...
Fanco with an O. Fanco Studios, not Funko like the Pops.
Right. And
Because a lot of people get that
And-
confused. They're like, "You work at Funko?"
and so can you explain to the listeners who might not know what Fanco does?
Fanco does they have studios and they make props and they actually do all sorts of stuff. Tech, please. But Fawn Davis, the owner, he worked with Adam Savage on the prequels, making models and stuff like that. So there's that. It's a good guy to work for. He's really good. He has a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, and all the people at Fanco are really cool. In the prop department, especially because that's where I was, or in the painting, it's like a painting and fabrication department. Yeah. And I really like it there. They're good people.
That's awesome, man. And I'm assuming that there's a lot of stuff going on in there that you cannot talk about, right?
I can't talk about anything that's going on there at all.
www.zipit.org.
Yeah, I had to sign a new contract and everything.
All right.
NDA.
So that's enough talking about that.
That I can talk about signing contracts. I just can't
kidding.
talk about projects that we work on.
Right. All right.
Awesome, John.
But yeah,
We'll be
Stoked for you,
sure.
buddy.
We'll be sure to skirt around anything
Thanks.
that's sensitive. But congratulations, man. And how was your holiday weekend with the family?
it was really good. It was just an extra day to hang out with the kid and you know, hang out essentially. Because usually we take her to a little preschool and she's gone all day,
Right.
8 to 5.
Yeah.
So and usually we're both working, so it was really nice to have an extra day to just chill and hang out. And,
Right on,
you
dude.
know,
That's what you're supposed
didn't
to do.
do anything. But yeah,
Sometimes that's the best
Sounds
thing
good.
to do is nothing. You
Don't
know?
labor
it's
on
one of my
Labor
favorite
Day.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to hang out and be lazy and play with the kid and the dogs and
Absolutely.
Hang out in PJs
you
all
know,
day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well. If it isn't the quack to call him the stifling slimy, he's got big crosshair energy. Brian Cook, how are you, bud?
Hi.
Hey,
How's it going, Regs? What's happening?
Good, man.
We're here. On it. I would
How's it
like to
going over
echo
there?
Tech's comment of Wednesday is becoming one of the fun days of the week. That's for sure.
I know.
It's
I
awesome.
look forward to seeing you guys every Wednesday. Breaks up the
it's a
monotony of
nice
the week.
break in the middle.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I wasted my week over decorating my microphone, complete with a mini fire puncher.
You went
How much pieces of
All
flair
the
do
way.
you need?
at
We
least
require
15.
at least 5.
We'll
So
go
we
into that on the workbench. But what I was more interested in than your bedazzled microphone was the long weekend. What'd you guys do? I know you have.
Oh well, it plans were foiled again. We had thunderstorms like crazy, so we had high hopes of going on the lake and going on the lake really, and it ended up just thunderstorming Sunday and Monday. And it was a holiday weekend, so Saturday we went on the lake on the boat, and there was just so many people. It gets a little dangerous. It gets a little dicey. Because, like, you know, when you're on the freeway with cars, there's, like, one direction.
It's just chaos.
And the other direction. Well, when you're on a lake with boats, it's just wherever people want to go. It's total chaos. But I actually did a quick note. My neighbor behind me, they have a daughter Levi's age, and they hang out. He's a pit crew for like NASCAR cars, and he's like a wheelman, so he changes the wheel.
Oh, that's the coolest part. That's like the coolest part.
Oh, cool.
Super intense job, and I don't really know much about NASCAR. We went over there Sunday night and watched races, and he kind of like gave me a lesson in how they operate and what they do, and it's super intense, super high paced, and it was cool to watch a race with him and kind of get, I don't know, I like learning about different stuff that I don't know about.
The insider.
Yeah.
Insider.
How fast are those
I
pit
got
stops, man? Those things
got
are
super
fast.
drunk too, but that was a different story. Joe and I shared the aftermath. Like we were drinking, I had some whiskey and then we were like drinking beers, and then he was like, it was like the end of the night, we're like winding down, and he's like, "You want some Buffalo Trace?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Yes,
Sure.
I would.
Feeling kind of parched.
Yes. But yeah, it was cool.
And then you
Other than
spent
that was
you
it.
spent the next morning, I'm assuming, healing.
Oh, dude, Monday, we woke up and I told Tori, I was like, I'm going to have a cup of coffee and I want to sit on the couch and watch a movie. And I watched, since Prey came out, I've gone on a retrospective journey of watching all the Predators. AVP 1, let's see, hold on. Predators was kind of cool. I just like the action. Like I've said before, I'm cheap and easy. The action in Predators was pretty cool. The storyline was pretty cool too, but AVP 1, AVP 2, that was kind of crazy. I liked it. It was cool. Predators.
Predator.
That was a lot.
That's cool, man. Did you so you liked Predator AVP 2 more than AVP 1?
I did, yeah.
That's weird.
That's
I liked
interesting.
the,
That's the
like,
first time I've
weird-
ever heard someone say that.
I liked
Yeah,
the
because
weird.
AVP 1 was pretty good.
I liked the weird mutant, mutant alien that was like half predator,
hybrid?
half alien. Yeah, I thought that
Is
was
that-
super cool.
Is that the one where they go in the school pool?
Yes,
Okay.
Requiem or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it better than the one with the girl and the ice, and I don't know.
Well, they can't all be Thor Ragnaroks and Thor Love and Thunders.
And I'll be Doctor Strange.
Kind of better, but yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you again, everybody, for being here, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you would like to interact with us more, follow us at DadBatchPod on Instagram, and check out our new merch at thedadbatch.com. Gentlemen, let's get into this little thing right here.
This garbage is nothing like clone armor.
Looks a little tight on you, old man.
Yeah? Well, at least I know how to wear it.
That's right, everybody. It's time for the weekly Workbench, and I will go first because I did nothing. I had plans to get my Season 2 helmet painted up, and my plans, much like Crosshairs, were foiled. Only mine were foiled by the kids because they both got sick.
Oh.
So one had to stay home from school, which in turn made me stay home. So my entire long weekend was spent taking care of my boys.
Oh.
It happens.
It happens.
It's hot,
But
too.
yeah,
It's been so hot.
I got nothing.
So
I got
hot.
absolutely nothing done.
I'm not even making a joke.
It's hot. Yeah, it's 100. You know what? It's 112 degrees where I'm at, and it's like too hot to work on anything anyway. So yeah, I got absolutely nothing done. I got nothing in the mail. It's been a very, very difficult week.
So if you were to tackle the helmet, are you I'm going to take my time with it, or are you going to get it done like really fast, furious, and then look at it later on and kind of tweak it a little bit? Like, what's your process?
I'm going to do it in universe, man. I'm going to paint it just like a brand new clone helmet would go. And then I'm going to do exactly what Wrecker did and just paint the crap out of it.
Steven puts all his armor on and sits on the corner of his bed, and he's like, all right, here we go. And he just starts painting his helmet. Boom. Boom.
But that's all I had, guys. So who else had what?
Well, I had a slow week as well, but I did paint some stuff. Painted a Mando helmet.
Nice.
That came out pretty cool.
Oh, really good.
And I repainted thank you. And I repainted this Peacemaker helmet, the Sonic Boom helmet that I love.
The 7,000th one he's done.
I love it. I'm a sucker for a superhero with a helmet
that Sonic
or
Boom,
multiple helmets.
when it happened in the show, I was like, what the heck just happened? Got me off guard.
So cool. So cool. Yeah.
It shows the mess of the leftover remains in this crater.
I was like, oh, that's the kind of show this is. Okay.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's and that was in episode 1. It was like right away.
Yeah. So John, let me ask you, are you making it? How many Peacemaker helmets do you have now?
I don't have that many. I have 3. And I have one more coming. So I'll have 4.
I don't have that many.
But they're all different.
I have 4. Okay.
Well, they're all different. Dude, he has like 20 variations, so it's like it's not that.
So how many are you going to collect?
Well, I think 4 is going to be it because I don't have much room for them.
Those are famous last words, John.
Yeah. Well, I just picked my favorite ones, like the ones I like the most.
Sure.
And there's 4 of them.
We'll check in with you again in like 6 months when you've collected all 20.
Wait for season 2. Yeah, we'll see what season 2 brings.
Right on it. Did you work on anything else?
No, I guess not. Did I? Did I not? No. Just worked a little at Fanco and did these, and that's it.
Right. Using those new paint techniques that you picked up.
Yeah, learned some stuff from Derek. Trying to, at least. It's not insanely wow, but it's pretty wow.
I saw you posted that Derek is doing another one of his classes, the same one that you attended.
Yeah.
I'm very tempted on signing up on that, man.
I mean, it's fun. You don't get to paint personally at that thing. You're watching him do these things, and he's explaining the paints or this or that or how to do this or how to do that. I don't want to give away much because it's an expensive class, but I think it was worth it. Just to pick up a few things and branch from there, you don't have to do exactly what he does. You can just kind of, pick and choose what you like to use, and like we said before. But I think it's worth it, especially if you like to paint stuff and make it look like TV show accurate or movie accurate.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and that's it.
Excellent, man.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to go, they should. It's worth it.
Anybody else?
And that's
Brian, what'd you do?
I did this.
Describe what this is.
This is a mini. Well, I started off painting my microphone, which I did the black stripes, and then I made this little resin skull, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a little Crosshair shoulder bell. Then I'm going to get this red foam thing, and then I made a little backpack
with the fire puncher.
I said, let me make a fire puncher. So
where's the barrel? Oh, it's like in
no,
put away
it's like
configuration.
this. Yeah, it's in put away configuration.
Yeah.
So that was a complete waste of time. But look how cool my mic looks.
Oh, was it, dude? It was fun.
You got all the flair.
You guys have started a whole thing. Have you guys seen that there's actually people on the internet now customizing their mics?
What?
In admiration.
Mario did that.
Yeah.
Scum and Villainy Acquisitions. He painted his like Ahsoka and Rex theme.
Oh, man.
Now,
That's pretty cool.
after I did this little shoulder bell, I was like, oh, I could just make my own like sideshow figure. So I'm looking at like little mannequins on Amazon, and John's like, I got these big 12-inch G.I. Joe figures. I'm like, Let me get him.
And
Let me get him.
this all came from two things. John got you the
Yeah.
resin printer. Brian, say thank you to John.
Yes. Thank you, John.
And then two was a couple of shows ago. John is just chroming anything that isn't moving, that isn't alive.
Yes.
And I said,
Yep.
when you chrome your mic, we need to have intervention. And then sure enough, he's like, oh. And
Well,
then,
that's originally what I wanted to do was chrome my mic.
but then I see Brian, and I'm like, okay, I got to do it, right? So we just started doing it. And then while Brian, you started printing Crosshair stuff, I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
my mic needs some tech glasses. So I have little tech glasses on my mic.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And
then
it's still my turn. I don't want to expose it, but Ramey's mic is hidden. So go ahead. John.
This is true.
You're about to drop something, huh, Ramey?
I'm afraid. I have a lot more to talk about, though.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So,
we'll get.
What
we'll get to
else
me.
did you What else
This
did
is
you
your
work on?
time. This is your time.
I've been making progress on BD here.
Show and tell when you're like 3 years old. Great.
It's sloppy, and I've decided this BD is the test BD one. Then I will be resin printing the whole thing.
Okay, whoa,
My-
hold on. Well, let me. I have to ask you before you move on.
Yeah.
You've been working on this BD droid for it feels
Yeah.
like months now, and you've
Yeah.
been working on it. You've been working on it, which I would in a manner that I would associate with a good build because you've been like printing a piece, working on it, printing a piece, working on
Yeah.
it.
No, I print a piece and I throw it in a bucket until it's all printed, and then I stare at it for months and dread sanding it, and then I give it like a solid 2 to 3 hours of sanding, and I go, "Yep, this sucks. I don't want to sand it anymore. I'm just going to make a super weathered one."
So
Ta-da.
okay, so tell me why
You fixed
do
the
you need
feet.
to why do you need to print
Yes.
a new one versus just
turned
working on
around.
this one?
Because
Why don't you just sand that one?
because
It's work.
no.
Okay, so what are you gonna do different on the next one?
Levi really wants like an accurate like one from the show, so that's pretty clean from the game. That's pretty clean. So I'm gonna resin print
on the
one
show.
where it's like nice and crisp and
It's going to be heavy. It's going to be heavy.
Yep.
You say that now.
That's gonna be heavy.
Dude, it's going to be heavy. Heavy.
realistic.
You're gonna have to like make it static and
It's
leave it
realistic.
in a position.
Don't you worry
standing.
about what I'm doing.
Hold on, Steven, don't you have a BD? Or did you get rid of that thing? Is it gone?
I no longer hold the license to that one, so that is gone.
Well,
I have
And then-
ABD.
He has a
I
one.
started making my Stormbreaker shiny, and it looks really cool, but I don't want to share it yet because it's not done.
let's see it.
I don't have enough 2K. I left it in the garage. It's done. But I also did this. Lastly, I did this. I got some. I didn't share this with you guys yet.
Nice.
I got some diffusing foam for the visor, so I could light this up.
You're going to light it up?
Turn it on.
Put it on your
Turn it
head.
on.
It's on.
It's on.
I see it.
It's
Put it on your head.
Wait, put it on. Yeah, you got to put it on.
Green lights
putting on his
your
bucket.
Imperial Crosshair bucket.
Oh, dude, that's sick. Wait,
Can you see it?
Tilt your
Oh.
head up. Look up.
It's
There
hard
you
to
go.
see. Yeah, you got to tilt. There it goes.
That's going to be good at nighttime. Right?
yeah. At night it'll
It's
look
going to look great.
Probably with all the lights off. Yeah, you can kind of see it, but
It's the same thing like with mine.
Good
I'll
enough.
have my red little tech light on, and it's okay during the day, but at night it just bam hits.
But I was also wondering too if like maybe if I put it above the visor and it pointed it down.
It kind of already is though, right? Isn't it tucked underneath?
It's like on the visor. Like I have it right on the edge.
Now, where you put it is perfect because the number one people that are going to see that are kids.
because they're looking at
Because they're looking out.
Yeah.
Good call, Steven.
Yeah.
Dang.
Screw the adults.
That's it.
Yeah.
I've been furiously making messes in the garage and then cleaning it up and then making a new one. And
Furiously.
but I'm afraid. I mean, Joe's next, but I'm afraid. I noticed Echo's Ramey's mic is just hiding.
So-
it's just gonna be.
So, but back to your visor. So, you'd have
Yeah.
to have some extra lens material to kind of play with this because you got to hit the right balance. But if you were to scuff that up a little bit, like if you were to sand it just enough so that you can still see through it, but those occlusions that you'll add to the acrylic, they will pick up and refract the light. So then you could actually put it the light up at the top and shine it down through, and all of those spots where it got scuffed up, it'll reflect the light out, and it'll make that glow more visible. Like I said, you'd have to practice with it because it's going to make it hard to
Like wet sand it or something?
Yeah, it'll make it hard to see, but anything you can do to introduce an imperfection into the acrylic, it'll cause that to reflect the light out.
Oh, I mean, not being able to see is like whatever.
It's the same. It's the same thing. Like when they etch it, like they put in the piece of acrylic into one of those machines and it etches it, and then they shine a light through it, and then that makes that bright. It's the same exact thing, just on a like micro scale because you're scuffing the whole thing up.
That's how my tech HUD is. It's a etched laser etched acrylic on my HUD heads up display, and it's not lit up. I was experimenting originally with the HUD and LEDs inside of it, but it was too much. LEDs are so freaking bright, and I didn't want to deal with the diffusing and all that. So what I discovered is, to your point, Ramy, my little red light from my goggles, that's enough to pierce through the acrylic and the HUD, and it outlines everything like brilliantly. So all those great photos that Mark Edwards catches, that's not the HUD lit up. That's the light from my glasses that are
light
bouncing off of it. Yeah, it's a really cool magic trick, if you will.
Thanks for that tip. I'm gonna give that a whirl.
Cool. Ta-da.
Tech, what else you working on?
So I made little tech glasses for my mic, and then I decided to make a tech helmet to go with it, and so there's a little resin tech helmet with ears and a HUD that moves up and down. So I'm going to paint it, and it's going to be cool, and it's fun. Made a little tech backpack that's made with clear resin, so it looked like gummies, which next to my Sour Patch gummies, I mean, it's
don't eat the resin.
Yeah, don't eat the backpack.
That would not be good. And then I got really happy with my BDU prints. They're really, I mean, these are FDM, and I tell you what, man, slow and nozzles and layer height is probably the best way if you want to 3D print, right? That's just my way. If you just
feel attacked.
No.
A lot of people do that. It's for better details.
Get better details, and ultimately it's because I don't want to. I mean, I'm going to sand, but it helps with the finishing process. That's all.
How long was that?
It's a clean print, dude.
How long was it?
This one.
He's trying to flex.
I want to say this one
was.
was
asking.
This foot was about, I think, 7 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
7 hours, and so I got my BD feet. I got all the major pieces, and then I had issues with my resin printer. The problem with clear resin is sometimes you don't see the crap that floats at the bottom of the vat, and I don't always scrape it like I should to kind of see if there's any gunk down there. And so I was having issues with it. Discovered that's what it was. Changed the vat, and as soon as we started recording this, my 3D printer, resin printer, is moving. It's working right now. So everything's all working. Trying to get that BD fixed. It's fun.
Now, for our listeners that use a resin printer, are you using FEP film or NFEP film?
I'm not using the FEP. That's the non-stick stuff, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The NFEP.
NFEP, yeah.
Yeah, the non-stick, right?
Right.
So I'm using the regular, stuff, and so regular FEP. And what I did is I just grabbed some of that lubricant, and kind of smeared it on the bottom of the FEP. So as the printer,
the PTFE lube.
Yep. That's
it's the same thing essentially.
Yeah, and it just allows for things not to get stuck to the vat,
less sticky,
and you're going to save your prints. I can't tell you how many times I've had failures where that brilliant UV light just bonds and you ruin a print quickly. So
over cures, yeah.
No, yeah. Things we do to learn and figure it out.
Going back to your BD feet, I totally agree with you. Like smaller nozzle size and low and slow is like my preferred method because I have a 3D printed R2D2, and everybody that prints these things, when you're printing the dome, like the life-size dome of R2, everyone always says like, up your nozzle size, up your speed, just up everything. But on mine, I left it at like 0.4 millimeter nozzle. I left it to like 0.20 layer height. I still did 4 walls. So it took me like, probably 10 or 12 days to print that dome. But it's funny because like when you see it in person, I think Raimi saw it in person. He was just like, "Did you sand this already?" And
yeah,
it looks
clean,
smooth. Yeah,
it's super clean.
I mean, there's a time and place to print fast, right? And I think especially if you're trying something out, if you want to do like a V1, a version 1, just kind of see what it looks like. Because I think I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, a lot of these creators, the people that create these files, don't print anything that they create. They just create stuff. Mm-hmm. And we are the guinea pigs. We're the ones that are going on Thingiverse or paying sometimes for these files. And we're the ones that are testing out and proving if it works or not. And so you don't really want to spend days on something that you could probably knock out in half the time just to test it and see, okay, yeah, this is actually going to work. It's a theory. I proved it. It's going to work. Let me slow down and do another print. So I think it's kind of like what you're hitting at, Brian. Like you did this first version to kind of like see, because it's pretty. BD1's got 1 million parts, and dude, I'm building the pieces too. I'm not putting anything together right now, and I'm getting like, holy crap! That box is getting full of parts.
I resin printed the feet on that one.
Did you?
This one that I showed, yeah, because I started to lay it up on the FDM printer, and it was just like, I'm okay. I don't want to change my nozzle too. It's such a pain in the butt.
Yeah, just a little.
That's why you got to just buy another printer and put the big nozzle on that and just leave it.
No problem.
It's only
and that's how you end up.
Parts, one for the little.
That's how you end up with 50 printers like Echo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Echo,
as I look out across the mall.
Speaking of Echo,
what are you doing?
Okay, so obviously John started by this. It's his fault because he started by painting his mic, and then Brian started working on his, and then Pocket on Instagram in the comments on one of Brian's posts, she commented, it's like, oh, is this a competition now? And I chimed in. I said, well, I guess I'm next then. And and then Brian's like, okay, so now I'm scared. So I apologize because it's probably gonna be noisy, but I'm gonna move my mic finally into the camera view because I've been hiding it from you guys the whole time. So I will put it here. And
I didn't even realize.
So, do you guys see my mic?
It's Echo's arm.
It's
no way.
It is Echo's arm. I will send you guys. I'll send you guys in the group chat the picture finally that I've been waiting to send you all day, and I'll post this.
I gotta see that.
I will post this online on Instagram here as soon as we're done with the show. But
Somebody please draw that. Whoever's
what the heck?
like, I want to see full-grown Echo with the mic coming out of his arm.
Yeah, from my side, it's got like the little piston on there and everything, and it's got all the details, and you can see the. It's got.
I'm looking at the picture.
It's his whole
The
arm.
elbow.
It's his whole arm from the elbow to his wrist, basically, and instead of the
Did you send it? Wow.
the screwdriver, it's the mic in there, and it fits
But you-
perfectly. Like
you
I pulled out
made-
calipers. I literally modeled this up. I pulled out calipers. I measured
Of course you did.
the Yeti
Yeah.
Blue microphone that we have, and
It just slides right on there.
I mean, it fit.
It's perfect.
It's completely resin printed off the Jupiter, by the way. So
Of course it is.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
it's painted the exact same paint applications that my Echo costume has.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raimi's not human. We just proved it.
I still like
More machine than man.
I think the idea I had for you was to get a white or like flesh colored foam and then put the headband on
The little
headset.
that would have been good too. But then I thought I was looking at this. I'm like, well, it's already an arm. I may as well make it Echo's arm.
Initially too, I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, the arm would probably be cool, but I didn't. I had no idea.
That's so good.
When your mic was out of sight, I was like, oh, he's for sure done something.
Here we go.
That's amazing.
It was kind of infectious building all this stuff. It really was.
Well,
Because I think having the resin printer just opened up like the possibilities. You're all, oh, I can just make this really small and print
Details.
it.
The details are incredible on resin, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's perfect. It comes out, you just paint it. Literally, I'm like the things, the cleaning solution's not even off my print. I'm already like putting primer on it. Like, all right, yeah, here we go.
John's like, oh, shaking his head.
There's still alcohol on it. I'm just like,
Okay, so
That is sick.
The other thing that I've got going on, and this was a little bit of a surprise. So let's go in the Wayback Machine. So back in 2015, 2016, a company then at the time called Novos started selling Stormtrooper kits, and they marketed a first order Stormtrooper kit that like very few people ever even saw. And then, years go by and nobody's getting these things. It's never coming. And, eventually a Novos folds up. A new company comes along with an oddly similar logo and very similar name called Dino Nuovo or something like that. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Duo
Which
Novo?
basically is like,
Nuovo?
I don't know, Latin for like part 2 or something.
Start over.
Yeah, do over. And so
Yeah.
what they are is Ruby's bought up the licensing that Novos had, and as part of their deal, they were handling the backfills, the back orders for Novos to try and make good on those orders. So yesterday, with no tracking number ever having been sent to me or any notification that it was coming, other than like when I talked to them at a convention, like, oh, it'll be coming, next month. It was always next month. I got my first order Stormtrooper kit. After 6 years of this thing having not been a real thing, this thing came. And so, I mean, it's great.
It's ridiculous.
Great for a podcast, right? But this box behind me, and it's got the kit, and it came with the seals that go between like the arm and leg pieces.
oh,
So
awesome.
The
the gaskets are
Nice.
there. All of the stuff to do the belt. It's basically everything but the boots, undersuit, and helmet. Everything else is in that box. So I looked at it. The parts look clean. There's some resin pieces. So like the detonator on the back is a resin part, and I think some of the boxes are resin. They're heavy. That bag that's got the resin pieces pretty much weighs as much as everything else in that box put together. So we'll see if I stick with this. But it's funny. In the meantime, I abandoned the idea of ever getting this thing from Novos, and I got a KB Props first order TK and got that built and approved. So now I'm gonna build this one. I'll probably do the very minor differences on it to make it like The Last Jedi. Or so
I was gonna say, yeah.
for those that aren't as familiar. So there's the Force Awakens version of the First Order Stormtrooper, and then the helmet is obviously got some differences from Force Awakens to the other two films, but there were some very, very small minor differences on the other parts of the costume. It's something with the COD was a little different. The detonator on the back had some differences, very minor stuff, but I'm going to build this one to that standard. And then I'll decide like, all right, what do I want to do with the other one? I might
like the design of those. I heard they're a bitch to wear, but
You might what?
the First Order kits. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the one that I've got's actually not that bad. It's not that much worse than
Not
normal
bad?
Stormtrooper. It's
But
it's
you might what?
it's a bit of a monster to put on and off, but compared to a normal TK, but they're not bad. They're
I've
comfortable.
always liked that design.
Were you saying you might sell it? Is that what you're gonna say?
No,
John's perking up.
John would
John's
like to
"Huh?"
buy it,
So
He's leaning in.
Sell it?
I'm gonna do this one.
and
The
John
Last
will
Jedi.
have it for 6 months, and then it'll be for sale.
He's going to
I
chrome
might-
it first.
No.
I might take the original one and mod it and turn it to the Executioner. So the one that had like the half of the helmet was black and it had the black shoulders and
Yeah.
stuff. So I might do that. We'll see.
That's cool.
That's exciting, man. You need to do like an unboxing of it and film that. I want to see like all the parts that are in there.
Yeah, I got it. I thought about doing that. I could have gone through the box here on the show, but it's like it would make for great radio, right? There would just be
Are there
a bunch
6-year-old parts pieces in there?
It's just noises.
no, I mean the parts look clean. And what I will say is that the parts are very sharp pulls. So
nice.
some of these Vacuform pieces, that we'll say that a pull is soft, and what that means is some of the details aren't as crisp as they would have been had it been something that was sculpted or 3D printed or whatever. And so the pulls on this are like there's some very sharp pulls, especially on the chest where like the little details like they've got black behind them on the kits, but I mean they're practically like 90-degree turns on these pulls. It's
So
clean.
the crazy thing that I saw about those bucks that they're using on the Vacuform for these kits. So typically, when you guys have seen a Vacuform buck in the past, it's usually like made of a wood base, and then there's clay on it, and then Bondo on it. Some makers have used like fiberglass on top of that just to give it rigidity and structure.
Mhm.
These guys use solid aluminum bucks.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, they're like CNC'd industrial aluminum bucks, and so like
Damn.
that's how they're able to just, they could probably get like 100,000 pulls off of each piece before they have to like end up replacing it.
It does look clean.
Shout out to
moly.
Lenovo's Part
Yeah,
2 for actually delivering.
It's
Yeah,
Duo Nuovo.
Dude,
Nuovo.
Lenovo's Part 2.
Those are tiny
Shout out to
details.
them.
seriously.
Yeah,
delivering
they be listening. They follow me. So
A stormtrooper that is irrelevant and probably will never be seen again. But
those kits were awesome, dude. I mean, I'm sure they're hard to wear, but they look really cool.
I've always
First order.
Yeah,
are
you know what, Brian? Like for real on that piece, like we talked to them at Celebration and also at Comic-Con San Diego, and so far, ever since Dueno Novo has taken over, Rubies and NECA has taken over. I mean, that's a tough thing, right? To buy somebody's
Huge.
debt,
real.
and bad press,
and to deliver like that is awesome.
and to deliver. I mean, they haven't not delivered yet.
They're shipping these things out, and the money, I'm sure the money for these is long gone, right? Like it's
long gone.
They're producing something and shipping it and putting it in people's hands that they're not getting paid for. So they're basically just
if
working
there's-
on bad debt from a previous company.
It's smart though,
But
because
they're
because they know people will be posting and talking about it, and to know like, oh, you can order this and it'll come.
Reputation.
So,
But yeah,
and
it
then
shows they're reliable.
Yeah.
and then if Star Wars would just make some content based around the sequel, the
First Order.
First Order, like that'd be awesome. Which I think they should.
So this is the first piece that I've pulled out of the plastic already. It's the main chest piece, and I was showing on the video like the chest details. Like this is what I was commenting on.
Super
Some
clean.
of these details are super sharp.
Clean.
But I will say that this is nice and stiff plastic. It's not thin.
It's not wobbly.
It's not wobbly. You don't want it to be so stiff that it's uncomfortable to wear. You want a little bit of give, but you also don't want it to be fragile and something that you're worried is going to tear. I know so many people with those original Lenovo's normal TKs, and like it's all the same places that the plastic just tears.
Yeah, you gotta be. You can't go too low on that return edge. You want to keep a little bit extra so it doesn't tear.
Yeah,
But the return edge ends up biting you, and you get pinched, and so it's like you're damned
put
if you do,
gaffer's
damned
tape
if you
on it.
don't. Yeah.
yeah.
Gaffer's tape is
Find a
canon.
balance.
But this is nice and stiff.
This is true.
It's good.
Well, that's awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
cool.
you for that, Ramy. You know what, guys? I thought I was having a slow week, but it's always awesome to see what you guys bring to the bench. You guys really did bring it. And now I'm feeling really left out because my microphone is the only one that's
You're the only one that
unmodified.
you got a sticker. It's
You said
okay.
yours was a
Sticker on there.
Special edition, something anniversary edition. You didn't want to paint over.
I'm gonna have to do
it.
something.
You put a sticker
I
over.
don't
it.
know
Get
if
a
I'm
throwaway
necess-
mic.
You could buy another one and
Get a throwaway
mod
mic.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm necessarily gonna do a record modification, but I'm gonna have to do something. So
I bet you there's
give
a
me-
file
Give me some
for
time.
for a
I'll
mic.
think of it.
Just print one.
I kind of want to repaint mine already.
Of course you do, John. New techniques. Got to try new techniques.
I did the gold, and I'm like, dang, I wanted to leave it more chrome and not gold.
Redo it.
I don't know.
Redo
We'll
it.
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I'll do something. Yeah, we'll do something.
We'll figure it out.
I have to paint my bucket before I work on this mic, though.
Paint them at the same time.
That's true.
Two birds. One can.
Getting ideas. But thank you guys. That was awesome. Hey, Ramy,
Woot.
we got any news?
We're being hailed. This encryption's new. This might take a while.
Okay, so friendly reminder, Disney Plus Day is September 8th, which as we record this on the 7th, that is tomorrow. So at this time tomorrow, the one piece of Star Wars content that we'll have from that is the Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi's Return, which is the documentary for the making of the show. So looking forward to seeing that. So, and then they also had the kind of and more ... at the bottom of the list. So we'll see if we get any surprises that are Star Wars related.
Batch trailer.
I hope so. That would be awesome.
I hope so.
You know, when I saw that Jedi's Return, like, because they released like a little, like a poster for it on their social media. So my heart skipped a beat. I thought they were announcing like season 2 of Kenobi. And then I read the fine print, and it was like a documentary, and I was like, "Oh,
No, it's the return you just watched, right?"
It says season 2. All of a sudden, your phone rings, ring, ring. You know, like, oh.
Yeah.
And isn't there? I think you might have mentioned this last week, Raimi, the kids cartoon show that's like Jedi based. Did you mention that, or am I going crazy?
I have not talked about that yet. It is.
Okay.
I have seen. So there is other content that we
what
I
I'm
do.
talking about.
There's other content that we haven't talked about yet that I have seen on various lists that says fall of 22. But I haven't seen any of that show up officially yet. So I haven't actually put it in the news.
No, yeah.
But yeah,
I don't think there's anything official. But a friend of mine recorded something for the show, and he was like, "Hey, you have a young kid. This is going to be right up her alley." And he was kind of explaining it to me. I'm like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" And I for some reason I thought you did mention it, but I guess not.
Yeah, I don't have a date for it yet, so I hadn't talked about it. But I do think it's coming before the end of the year. That's what, the Jedi Tales or something like.
Tales of the
Jedi. Yeah,
Tales of the Jedi.
That's coming, and then I think that the animated droid story thing is also coming soon.
Sweet.
So
is this like a rehash of the droids show?
No. And as I understand it, I think it's different stories following kind of from the perspective of the droids, and I think it covers the range of several different droids. So we should see like BB-8 stuff like that too. So moving on. So congratulations to ILM on the work that they did for the Book of Boba Fett and bringing home an Emmy for outstanding special visual effects in a season or movie. So they actually had some decent competition. So they were up against Foundation, which was an Apple Plus or Apple TV show, Lost in Space, Stranger Things, and The Witcher.
Oh, wow.
So and they beat all of them out, brought it home. So
those are all good. Yeah.
Beat Stranger Things. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And Lost in Space was good too. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Yeah, we enjoyed Foundation too, which was loosely based on the book. So I have read those books, the Isaac Asimov books, and that was a good series. But the show was good too.
Oh, I saw it too actually.
So speaking of awards, congratulations to author and friend of ours, Timothy Zahn. He won 2 Dragon Awards this past weekend at DragonCon, including Best Media Tie-In Novel for Star Wars Thrawn Ascendancy, Lesser Evil, and then another one for Best Military Science Fiction or Fantasy Novel for something he wrote called A Call to Insurrection, which I'm not familiar with, but good on you, Timothy Zahn. So
nice.
Moving on down the line. So Kotobukiya has introduced... or revealed a prototype for a new ArtFX figure to add to the line. So I'm particularly excited about this one because it's my boy Echo.
Yay!
So
these looks great.
These figures stand about 11 inches tall. This one's going to retail for $189. I don't know how much the other ones have been, but that's what this one's listed at.
I think mine was a little bit less. I think.
Yeah, a little less. 150.
I think mine was like
around
159,
there.
Something like that.
Inflation.
Yeah.
Figures. And
yeah.
Echo has a removable hand.
He's got all the pieces.
There's a helmet on and helmet off version for him, and it releases in Japan first in April of 23. So, yeah,
those figures are cool if you want like a really animated style figure, not like Sideshow.
It's like 1-to-1 to the show.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah.
Joe showing tech there. I got to get that Crosshair.
And his tools.
I got a Hunter
dude,
too.
It's detailed.
So
like it is so
it's very
detailed
nice
to the show.
when I was
Actually, I'm
building,
going to make my own. So
The only thing I don't like about these is that they're 1/7 scale.
Yeah, it's just a slightly off scale, right?
You know, it's slightly smaller than the sideshow figures, and you're like, why just make it the same?
they use
size?
the metric system. That's why.
I also think that that's a licensing thing. So Hot Toys and Sideshow have the 1/6 scale license, whereas Kodo can get a 1/7
I
scale
see.
license.
Contracts,
Silly.
John. Contracts.
1/5 scale.
Yeah.
yeah, these are
But
so
they're awesome, though.
detailed. When I was building the Wrecker CRL, there were parts of the costume that just were never shown on the cartoon, never shown on like any of the reference material, other than on that actual Wrecker statue from Kodo. And like those pieces, like I think there's like a strip of orange that's on his knife that we incorporated onto the CRL. Little other bits like that, but yeah, those are amazing statues.
So detailed.
Cool stuff.
Cool.
Nice.
A couple of live action stories we've got here. So at Dragon Con this past weekend, voice actor Jim Cummings, who does the voice of Hondo, our friend Hondo Naga, he was. They asked him if we would be seeing him appear in anything live action or in Bad Batch season 2. I don't have any audio from this, but his immediate answer was probably yes and yes, but they haven't talked to me about it. So he says, we know I'm there. I'm not going anywhere. So I made from his perspective makes sense that he would eventually appear in these things. So I think his answer was sort of semi revealing and semi cagey. Yeah, well, I mean, they've got one that walks around at the park, as we talked about the other day. So,
oh my gosh, dude, I would love to see Hondo like
Cad Bane.
Exactly.
Ahsoka.
Once you see Cad Bane, you can see just about anybody else.
It's doable.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And they asked him. They said, if you could pick one of these things to be involved in, who would your character interact with, and kind of what would they be doing? And he said it would definitely be Ahsoka. He said that poor kid misses me. I can't deny her of me. But he did it in the voice, which I'm not gonna.
He's actually closer to Ezra. I mean, that's his boy, Ezra.
Yeah, and you can be a pirate Jedi. So
For that boy, I would do anything.
Put him in Boba Fett season 2.
Yeah.
Where?
Little bit of Andor news. So Genevieve O'Reilly, who's playing Mon Mothma, was interviewed by Entertainment Weekly, and she says they were asking her questions about the character, and so she goes into it a little bit. She says, and again, I don't have audio this time, but she says, we really get to develop her as a character. We get to learn about her not just as a senator, but as a woman. We learn what her life is like, what she has to wrestle with, what are the dangers to her life, what it costs to be her. Tony, talking about Tony Gilroy, Tony's writing is so intricate and so taut. It lives in this world of a spy genre, so a socio-political drama, and yet it's set within a Star Wars world. So I like that. I had heard somebody say that like this was going to be the Star Wars equivalent of the Jason Bourne movies, which goes along with what she's saying here.
Yeah, I heard it was going to be something like they were talking to the director, and he was like, "Why can't we just make a good drama that happens to be based in the Star Wars universe? Like it doesn't just have to be Jedi and lightsabers flying around and troopers constantly. I mean, you can obviously that's going to happen, but he was just like, I just want to write good television, and this happens to be in this universe. So I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It's right on the corner.
Well, I mean, Tony Gilroy did all the Bourne movies, right? So,
did he?
Yeah. So he directed the Bourne movies. So I mean, this would
There
be
it is.
like perfect.
Okay. Well, there we go.
These movies are so good.
They are.
It's funny because somebody was just talking to me today about Andor and how they were like lukewarm on it.
Oh, what?
And I was just I didn't even.
They're not your friend. No,
I didn't even confront or address that comment because I was just like, you'll see.
Like whatever, man. Yeah.
Gonna get real.
Yeah. Don't watch it.
You know what's neat is like because we look at Andor, Cassian Andor from the little bit we have from Rogue One, and I mean, after the series, we're going to look at it from a different lens. That's what's so exciting about this stuff is just like as a...
It's going to expand.
Exactly. The view you think you have...
open up like a flower.
Beautifully said, John. I'm going to stop speaking because that was perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. And we do know, I mean, they're talking about it very openly now. We do know that there will be a second season of Andor. They've already got it written. It was originally done in 3 parts, and they realized that that wasn't going to quite work the way that they wanted it to. So I think they've taken what would have been parts 2 and 3 and turned those into multi-episode arcs that will be in season 2. So.
Okay.
Okay. So last bit of news. So, and this one's not Star Wars related, but Indiana Jones. So, as many people know, especially here in Southern California, recently John Williams, in fact, I think this past weekend played in the Hollywood Bowl, and I know the 501st was out there for some of that, I think, and so we've got a couple audio clips for this one. So John Williams said that he was speaking with James Mangold, who's the director for Indiana Jones 5, and he was talking about one of the pieces of music, and Mangold said, "Well, why don't you play that at the Bolt this weekend?" He's like, "Am I allowed to do that?" And he's like, "If I say you can." So if you want to play clip number 1, it's basically John Williams telling that story, and then we'll play the audio then.
Maestro.
The song.
And last week, as we recorded music, Jim said, "Why don't you play it at the Bowl next week?" I said, "Oh, Jim, the picture's not coming out till next year." "That doesn't matter. Play it at the Bowl." So here is Phoebe's theme. She's an adventurous, and she's also a femme fatale. She's many, many things. And her music, she has a kind of lyrical music like an old movie star, which she looks like, except she's young and beautiful and wonderful. But here is Helena's theme, like 6 months too early.
Huh.
So this is the theme for Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character, Helena.
That's beautiful.
Leia vibes. For
It's
sure,
ugly
huh?
cry. Beautiful.
Some strong Leia vibes right there.
Yeah, it's got John Williams' fingerprints all over it, and it feels like it fits in with that sort of classical vibe that you get from in the Indiana Jones films too.
Star Wars Celebration. Watching him do Duel of the Fates with a full
Orchestra.
What do they call? Not even it's an orchestra
group.
acapella group.
Oh
then he did Indiana Jones and he did the Imperial March. That was like bucket list. That was the first time I had heard him live, and I was like, "All right, perfect."
I was lucky to see
done that.
See him perform live.
It was so
Conduct.
awesome.
Yeah. Incredible.
Sorry, you guys weren't there. Well, Steven was there. He was with me, but
no, dude. When John Williams came out on stage, you and I looked at each other, and we just we looked at each other with our jaws dropped, like no way. And then and then for him to play, because you and I have a Vader costume, and so for him to play Imperial March, I mean that's like for me that's the most iconic, right? And then he takes it a step further and gets even more iconic, and then plays Indy's theme. Oh, dude, you and I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
and I mean,
it was so awesome. I at Celebration Orlando, it was like the 40th or 50th anniversary of A New Hope or something like that.
No,
and then was
40th,
and then was the panel that was for it, which I didn't back then. I that was our first celebration. I wasn't trying to wait in line for 2 days to go to a panel. Yeah. Now the raffle's way cooler. Thank you.
That
Star
celebration
Wars,
was so
Lucasfilm.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because people waited in line forever. But
The lines, like 5-hour lines.
they did the panel, and then the curtain dropped, and John Williams came out and played a bunch of songs, which is awesome. So when that happened, when we were there, and Tori and Levi were with me, and we were with Steven, and that was like, and Duel of the Fates was
That's got to be epic.
beep awesome. Like that was insane because the lights were red, like all the lights went down, and they had red lights and then smoke, and then red smoke filled, and the whole like in front of the stage was a full a cappella group. How many people? 80?
It's like
I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought it was
And
just, I thought it was just like a digital recording at first,
Yeah. And
then
And it was real people.
and then
Just like that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brian.
Just like that.
Ewan and Christian came out, and it was like, dude, no.
Did they start fighting?
No.
Should have been.
I was lucky to watch.
You were very
I was-
handsomely
I
dressed.
was lucky to see him perform in San Diego. He came down, maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago. And half the show was the local San Diego conductor. And we're waiting for him. Like, where's he at? He's sitting one row in front of me and Kim, like just off to the left. And we're like, that's freaking John Williams. It's just, oh my gosh, he's right there. And then he went up on stage after they'd already done Star Wars and the Imperial theme. And he's like, of course, now that I'm up here, what else is there to play for Star Wars? He goes, well, let me tell you a little story. And he starts to talk about his time meeting Daisy Ridley. And he goes, don't tell anybody, but she's my favorite. And then he turns around and plays her theme. And it's
Brad.
so good. He plays Ray's theme. And
That's cool.
And everybody's, you can just hear everybody go, aw, because, it's
Dude.
John. He can get away with that, right?
Just what just what George always says. He's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
He's the secret sauce for Star Wars,
So
and it's
good.
totally true.
He is, and yet we've got other conductors that have now played in the Star Wars world.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Kiner with all the animation and
They're carrying that torch for sure.
Gordon
Ludwig with all the Boba stuff.
Ludwig,
Yeah.
he's insane.
And when you when you hear them talk, the first thing they do is comment, that they are trying to do right by what John Williams has done before them.
Yeah.
So he's
And
definitely
they're doing it.
Yeah, he's definitely set the stage, and he's given us some amazing music. But I also think we're getting some good stuff from these guys now too.
Definitely.
It makes or breaks these shows.
It's part of the DNA for
100%.
sure.
Better than just a one contract deal that you have with a band. That's it. You just
sweet child of
play the
mine.
one band. That's it.
dude, Raimi, these that Helena, was it Helena's in theme?
Helena, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I totally got like 1940s, 1950s vibes off that.
Which is what you should get for an Indiana Jones film.
So do you think that they're gonna do like de-aging on Harris? Like, is this movie taking place in the 40s?
No, I had heard that this one was appropriately later in the timeline, so that his age would be in line
Somewhat
with his with Harrison's real age. So I think we would be like up to the 1960s now at this point.
Oh, okay.
And I think
So
that's
we're not-
I think that's the time frame that this one takes place in.
But we're not going to see Indy with like a cell phone, right?
No.
Okay.
No,
I'm here for it.
I haven't heard of any kind of de-aging or anything like that either. So.
All right, so this is like Cold War Indy, which that actually sounds pretty cool.
Interesting, yeah.
No TikTok for
I
Indy.
hadn't thought of that, but that would be
One
cool.
ping and one ping only for sure.
I've also heard that they're setting her character up to potentially be able to continue on.
Ooh,
That makes sense.
so this
Passing
is
the torch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Indiana
No Shia
Jones,
LaBeouf?
new generation.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Shia LaBeouf.
I'm interested to see what they do with that. I had heard them say in something they had said that they were not going to pretend that didn't happen. They would have an answer for that, but he's not in it.
She's like the granddaughter or something and carries on.
I don't know.
Finds his journal or something.
Indiana.
So, all right, that's it for the news.
Awesome, man.
Cool.
Thank you.
Always keeping us informed.
All right, guys.
For real.
Just need the weather report now. It's hot.
Thank you.
It's hot.
It's hot.
Back to the news.
Speaking of hot, let's get into this one right here.
Why did you make me do this?
Guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?
My father, he go toilet on my hands.
Oh my God.
Urine is 35 degrees Celsius, staves off the frostbite.
How is this relevant?
You know, fathers.
All right. Oh,
My favorite.
I never get tired of hearing that intro, and I
You have
say that way too often.
the best intro, dude.
Every week.
Yeah. So for this week's Hunter's Hard Drive, we're going to be talking about the new Amazon series Rings of Power, not to be confused with the Game of Thrones show House of the Dragons, which is similar in genre, sort of, but whatever. But Rings of Power, wow. For being a TV show, because we've been getting a lot of shows lately that with really, really high production value, and this show is basically a movie. Like the first 2 episodes we saw was like just a 2-hour movie, and it sucked me right in. We get to see, Galadriel as a younger woman, younger elf.
So hard to say those names.
Yeah, the way they pronounce them is cool. And Elrond,
Doogie Howser.
Doogie Howser. I guess he's around too. Which I didn't know that they were going to be in this series, because obviously the elves, well, not obviously, but the elves live a long time, and I didn't realize they were going to be part of this story, which is really cool. But let me hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's start with Stevie. What did you think?
You always pick me first.
Do I?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Forget it. Tech, you go first.
Wow, thanks for the heads up. Thanks, Stephen. Secret. So.
Well, you complain, so go.
Dude, thousands of years before, the movies that I'm familiar with, right? And so just trying to wrap my head around the timeline of this thing. I can't even pronounce these names. Galadriel, how do you say it?
Galadriel.
Okay, thank you. She's amazing, right? I just love the fact that we're watching that story take off. And then another really cool character, Arendar, the Ishmael Cruz. He's that one elf that's dispatched out into to look at this one valley, this one area where there's for 70 years he's been posted there.
79
years. Yeah. So he was a standout character for me as well. And then anything dwarves, I'm down. I'm so down with anything dwarves. Those. I just love the characters and their feistiness. Also, we got to see their building skills at a totally another level like we've never seen. So just being introduced to the craftsmanship and the innovation of bringing the sunlight or whatever light from above down to kind of...
Yeah, with the...
what's like mirrors or something they were using to kind of...
Yeah, something reflective.
To grow the vegetation under in these deep caves. Like, I was floored, and to your point, what you were saying is like this belongs in the theater. This is beyond television. This belongs in the theater. Super hyped on it, man. And I'm in. I mean, first episode, I'm in, and then the second is I can't wait for like the next one. So just really stoked.
Yeah, right on. Well, thank you, Joe. Raimi, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I've seen 2 episodes. Is there a third yet, or have...
That's all we have so far.
Okay, good. So I'm all caught up. Hey, for once. So no, it was. I thought it was great. I think I went into it a little unknowing. I had heard that there was some drama surrounding it, and fortunately, the reality is, whatever that drama was about is a bunch of BS, because what I saw was fantastic. I thought the casting was great.
Mm-hmm.
The characters, you like the characters. I think I mentioned on before, like, I don't like it when like they make these characters that you sort of intentionally don't like. I thought the casting's fantastic, especially considering we're looking at younger versions of characters that we've already been accustomed to in the other films. With the dwarves, we get to see, because in the other films, they're walking through the ruins of what the dwarves once had. And Gimli talks about like the grandeur and how, proud his people were, but now we actually get to see what that looked like when it was in its prime, which is cool. So I think it's great. I'm can't wait till the next episode comes out. So
right on. Thank you, Rami. All right, Steven, are you ready? You good?
Yeah, I'm ready. That was all just a ploy so I could Google the cast names here, so that I could refer.
That's fine.
Dude, one of these things that all these series with these immense casts like throw me off on is I can't remember everyone's names. Like on Game of Thrones, like I watched Game of Thrones, from episode 1 to the final episode, and like I can follow along pretty much, but then like, Monday morning water cooler talk, and like I have a coworker and he's just like throwing out all the names and I'm like, who did what, huh? But
yeah, they don't stick.
Yeah.
That happens to me too.
So
who they're talking about, but
so with these first 2 episodes of Rings of Power, just I am so for it. Like, the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, I think they call that the third age. And this is now the second age of man, where they're going to explain like why the rings were created. And then like, we haven't seen Sauron yet, supposedly.
Yeah, we have.
Kind of.
Well, we have
not in the future, not in present, but when they explain Sauron, they definitely show him when he's walking through the orcs there in the
right. But we haven't. They've only shown him like as a flashback. Right.
Okay. That was a flashback.
They haven't.
So when they're explaining what was it? Margoth? No. The main villain.
Right. But
the main baddie.
I love the actress for Galadriel. I think the chemistry between Galadriel and Elrond was just like, I love their chemistry on screen. I love the way that they're introducing all the characters. Similar to like the movie Crash, where it's like, okay, you've got these set of characters here, the elves, you got the proto hobbits, what do they call them? The Proudfoots,
Proto hobbits.
Yeah.
That nice word.
Yeah, Harfoots
before they became civilized.
Right. They've got the humans, right, who I guess worshipped. Or were followers of the original Big Bad.
Yep.
And they kind of like have to be
right.
Like the elves have to like patrol them to like make sure like
Morgoth.
They're doing their thing. Which actually I love how they haven't shown the son of Bronwyn, the kid Theo who found the sword, the hilt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm probably totally wrong on this.
You're probably right with what you're going to say.
But they gave him this like.
Who is he going to become?
They gave him this bowl cut, and even when the orcs like knocked him over, they purposely like blocked out his ears. I think he's going to be the son of Arondir.
Yes, it's kind of hinting at that,
right? Because
kind of hinting at that. He's got
Arondir
a thing for the mom.
Yeah, they have this like.
It's obvious. It's obvious there's something there, right? And even the dad picks up on it. He's like, I mean, hey, soldier.
Hey, maybe I'm wrong. And it's going to be this thing where his ears are normal, but then maybe he's going to be Sauron, the reincarnation of. Because doesn't his blood goes into the.
It touches
it,
right?
Yeah, because he had a cut from the fight with the orc or whatever, and the blood like goes up.
Right.
Towards the blade,
yes,
and it activates it or
and
something.
So that coworker that I was telling you guys about, he told me that when they showed the map of his village on like the overhead map thing, that the mountain structure of his village is the same mountain structure as Mordor. Yeah, Mordor. Thank you. So I don't know. It could be.
Hey. Could be good connection.
And then the last thing I wanted to say was, I think another red herring that they're doing is the stranger.
Yeah.
So
who's that guy?
Oh, the guy that came out of the freaking sky?
Right?
The guy in the
at
fireball?
end, okay, so everyone, I think they're telegraphing that this is supposed to be Gandalf.
I don't think it is.
No way.
I don't think it is.
No way.
I
don't think he's born yet.
Saruman.
That's what I was thinking.
You think it's Saruman?
What?
Okay. I think it's... Well, I thought Saruman is like Gandalf.
They're human.
Well, they're like the same
human,
age,
though.
and they're both wizards, right? So
Yeah, I don't know how old wizards are supposed to
Okay,
be.
and I'm probably... See, I'm already contradicting myself.
But I don't think
because I think that... I think that's Sauron.
Or Saruman. It could be Sauron, maybe. But how would he... But he was already a tall menace. How is he going to be a scrawny old dude flying through the sky?
I don't know. But, I mean, we're only on episode 2.
question.
And
it's a good prediction.
And the way that they like telegraphed it, like visually, because he's like in the middle of this like fire thing, so he's like the eye, right? And and if you guys remember when I can't remember if it was Frodo or Samwise, that when they like touched the ring, and they thought, oh, it's hot, but
it's not. It was cold.
Right?
Yeah,
the same thing happened.
Same as the fire that the Harfoot falls into.
Interesting.
Right?
Definitely some visual foreshadowing going on with that scene and the fire and him. I agree. There's something there.
It's something.
Other than that, I'm here for it. Let's start a new podcast, Rings of Power podcast.
I'm making a wizard hat for my mic.
Dads of the Lords of the Dads. Something. All right. Well, thank you, Stevie. I appreciate that. Crosshair, Brian, Blackie, what'd you think?
Insane.
You liked it.
Like completely stellar. Like, well, I don't know what we're calling this, just episodic. I mean, it felt like a movie. We talked earlier about the music. Like, that music brought me right back to the Lord of the Rings movies, which has some of the best music and can really make movies like this. The visuals, I don't know, was it shot in New Zealand again? Like,
probably
whatever.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah.
Why screw with greatness? You know,
it took me 30 minutes just because the names in Lord of the Rings are really hard to remember. They're hard to say.
Say Doogie Howser.
Galadriel.
30 minutes in, when I was like, it's the
Elrond.
What was her name in? She was like the White Queen or something, right?
Galadriel.
Galadriel, same
right.
one.
Like, didn't she have? It was like the White Queen. Remember, she had like a name. Where remember when they found her in the forest and she was like glowing, like she had some kind of name. And when we realized that's who that was, and then that made me go, I think that's her.
Lady of the
I
Woods,
looked it up,
something like that.
Lady of the Woods, yeah, something like that. When I realized that was that, and then that Elrond was, I'm use simple terms, Liv Tyler's dad. I was
Lady
like,
of Light.
Yeah, the Lady of Light.
They called her Lady of Light.
Okay.
Lady of Lorien and Lady of the Wood.
Lady of the Wood. Okay.
But once I realized all that, I was like completely sold on it. And then even Durin, remember the doors of Durin when they went to the
Durin's
thing?
awesome.
The dwarves were insane. I mean, Gimlet was like so awesome, and all his buddies. It's just so, I don't know what Joe's making Steven laugh, and now I'm laughing. The tie-ins, the visuals, the music, everything was just completely so stupid. It was just completely
Keep
off
it
the
together.
charts, and I can't wait for more of it. I'm completely sucked in. Prior to, like, I was telling you guys in our chat, like, prior to like Star Wars and anything else, like when I was a kid, like medieval, like Excalibur type stuff was my jam, and Lord of the Rings has always been something that I can go back and watch and be completely satisfied with. May fast forward through some of the Smeagol parts because it gets a little old, but the orcs, man, when she was fighting that like goblin
that
orc,
troll,
like
whatever, the ice troll or
house.
whatever it was.
No, in the house, the ice troll was that scene was, come on.
That was
she
epic.
freaking
Yeah.
sliced it down to her size.
So
But they worked as a team. You see the elves.
But then
that
she
was
like
when I
sliced it up.
realized who she was.
Good.
Yeah, he went
Yeah.
up and then did a.
Super
all about
graphic,
it. Yes.
which is awesome. And I think we have to remember Lord of the Rings was made a really long time ago. So the CGI capabilities and filming and technology and everything is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, the production value on this is on par, if not better, than what we got in the films.
I believe the production value on this is unlimited, according to Jeff Bezos.
Is he funding this thing?
That makes sense.
Let's tell you about marketing and advertising. I had some Amazon boxes show up today, and they're covered in Ring of Power tape.
Yep, same. Ring of Power tape all
I'm
around
seeing
it. Yep.
Ring of Power, like I have a Fire Stick. I open up my Fire Stick. It's like Ring of Power.
I'm just
You open
glad
up
it
your
doesn't
Amazon
suck,
It's like
right?
Ring of Power.
Because otherwise you'd
Like,
be
It's rings.
Otherwise you'd be
of power.
reminded of how
Rings.
bad it sucks, but you're actually reminded
Plural.
of how good it is every time you.
Okay, so
Ring of Power.
does,
Watch it.
does anybody
Ring of Power is
does
after
anybody
you chew.
know if this is supposed to be like 1 season, 3 seasons? Can it just go on
for
indefinitely?
1,000 years until it matches up to the Hobbit.
Yeah, only until it gets to the Hobbit, right? No, I don't know though. No, I don't know.
It's so well done when you tie in characters that we know and love and have seen through these multi-episodic movies. I'm for it, especially.
I think
the
it's going to
type
go to the
writing
creation
and
of the rings,
production
and
value.
then probably like that'll be kind of it.
Well,
Yeah.
in this show already, we've gone hundreds of or thousands of years
Before.
because they show her as a child in the beginning, and then it explains. She takes up her brother's oath
After
and
he had been
basically
fighting
it
for a
says,
couple
like,
of hundred years.
Right, he'd already been fighting, and while she was growing up, but she takes up his oath and essentially goes for like hundreds of years
After,
looking for
right.
Sauron. Right, right. So I don't know if it gets to thousands.
It is
but she's been around a while.
Yeah, I was looking at the IMDb
Okay.
and just kind of researching a little bit because I couldn't. I was like, okay, if they were fighting for a couple of thousand years, the elves and the orcs, and then now all of a sudden,
But that's what I'm saying.
it's a couple of thousand years.
In the show, so far, we've already gone like thousands
Yeah.
of years in the first episode. So there's a lot of story they could tell or write up or whatever. I don't know if the story was already written before or if it's new, but there's thousands of years between, and they skipped those thousands of years. So there could be a story within
more.
what they were, the journeys to look for Sauron, whatever. That's all. That could be its own show right there.
Even with
so there's so much time.
even with what we know about the lore, there's so much that they could do just between the point in time we've seen so far and The Hobbit, right? Like season 1 could just be about them, and up until the point where they make the rings, and then like in the next season we could see like, okay, now the rings have been handed out. Now how does that start to impact the people that receive them and
How the kings become
they
corrupt.
get corrupt and downfall, and I mean honestly they could milk each ring could be a different season. It could be they could go for a long time.
19 rings, right? There was 19?
9.
Okay.
9 rings of power.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then one
the
ring
9
to rule
kings.
them all.
Completely. I was completely satisfied and like watched the end of that second episode.
I actually watched it twice.
Where's the next one?
Because I was like trying to get.
I watched it 3
I was trying to
times.
get ready for this, and then Kim wanted to watch it, so I watched it again, and it was just as good the first time.
It has a lot of rewatch value.
Exactly.
It has so much rewatch value.
But
I'm telling you, I watched both episodes 3 times just because I was like, I want to see this again. I want to miss any
good.
details I didn't see.
And they're
or
not that
whatever.
long. It's
There's
like
so
an
much
hour,
in there.
an hour long each.
There's
Check it out.
Right.
There's that music, right? That's like now obviously because this is very I don't know. It's the music sticks with the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing like Star Wars or something where that background music that plays when scenes are happening make a huge difference into the flow and the feel of the
100%.
movie.
Did you ever see the?
Makes a huge difference.
There's a documentary, and it's big in our home because of our son. He's all into music. He's going to school for music, but it's called The Score. If you ever want to watch a documentary about music, movies specifically, this I highly recommend it. But to your point, Brian, it talks about, and they use that movie, The Lord of the Rings, as an example, and they do it beautifully. Where there's a certain theme, and John Williams is the master of this. He picks like 4 or 5 notes, and they hit at a certain time on the visual. and then flash forward several minutes into the movie, maybe an hour into the movie, and those same notes pop again, and you know it's familiar. So it's not only the visual that's hitting you, but it's the audio that's hitting you.
It's like psychological.
Dude, it is dopamine to like the max, right? And you're just getting fed, and you want more and more and more. But you're also part of the journey because you're pulling on this other part of you, the other sense of your sound, and it's incredible.
Well, and they're tying in. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Steve.
there are shows, perfectly good shows, where I can sit back and I can just watch what's going on screen, and then by the end of it, I'm happy. Like what I watched was
satisfied,
was cool.
Right.
But then there are shows like this where in the first 2 minutes I'm already
hooked,
viscerally invested in the show because like the opening line, right, was Galadriel as a kid saying that in the beginning evil didn't exist, right?
Right.
And then what's the
no they didn't have a name for death. Is that what you're talking about?
But there was also something about evil too, right? Because it was all like positive.
she said the evil didn't exist in the beginning, but then the very first thing we see is that evil was a behavior that was taught, because you see that punk ass kid throw a stone and hit her little paper ship,
her boat.
And dude, right when that happened, I like got up out of my sofa and I was like, oh dude, I want to punch this kid. Like,
yeah, a little punk. Yeah, and that's she was right about to too. As soon as her brother came up, she cocked her fist him. She's like,
but that
she should have.
I tell you that I can't say enough about that audio and how it's not the same soundtrack, but yet you feel like you're watching.
They use the
Lord of
same
the Rings
notes
or The
right?
Hobbit.
Yeah,
you feel it.
It's the same vibe for
Star
sure.
Wars has done a really good job with that. With these other shows,
It's consistency.
With Obi-Wan, with Mandalorian, with Book of
Mando and
Boba Fett.
Boba.
Like Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian have a specific sound, whereas so does Obi-Wan, right? Like they tie in together.
Yep.
So
yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this segment right here. Thank you, everyone, for your insight and your opinions. I value them greatly.
Rings of
Solid
Power
pick.
is Dad Batch approved.
Dad Batch
Sounds
approved.
Double
545.
Double thumbs.
Yeah,
all the way
we're
up.
definitely going to be talking about this show a lot more. So we'll be working on something new for that.
Yeah.
Hey, Tech,
Go right on. Take it
What's
away.
up, dog?
hit us with that funk.
For your information, the stinger of a Yalbek queen is a delicacy on some planets.
Nice.
So a couple weeks back, on the grams, my stories is how I like to connect with a lot of the people, the followers of the Bad Batch and the Dad Batch, I should say,
and the people,
right? And so asked a question, hey, what questions do you have? And I have some. There were about 20 really good questions, and I kept a few more, and so I want to ask this group some of these questions. I got 3 lined up. We don't have to go through all 3. Let's start with an easy one, a super easy one. Favorite meal choice for the Space Daddies, quote. And that came from Too Tall _76. I already know Steven's. Guessing sushi.
Dude, easy. Sushi.
It's a good one.
I'm torn between 2. I love sushi, and I also love Korean barbecue.
How much do you love Korean barbecue, John? Like how much?
This much. Much. Check out that tattoo.
So when I first met John, we were talking about Korean barbecue or something. I don't even remember what it was. It just kind of came. Oh, because
it was at Kevin's sale,
Kevin Weir sale or something like that. You're like, oh, dude, I love Korean barbecue. And you're like, look, and you have a tattoo of it on your arm. Like, it's
yeah, I like it a lot. It's very very yummy. And I grew up I grew up with one of my best friends was Korean, so we used to eat a lot of Korean food. Like after school, I'd go to his house and eat tteokbokki.
Oh, dude.
And, have you had kimchi pancakes?
Bulgogi.
I've had it all.
No,
I've had it all.
I have not.
Bro.
I have not.
Yeah, kimchi pancakes.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't had kimchi pancakes, but we ate a lot of other Korean treats, and I'm a big fan. So those 2, sushi and Korean
Brian, what's your
barbecue.
jam besides whiskey? because that doesn't count as a meal.
Dang, I gotta pick one thing.
What's your favorite? What's your go-to? Okay, what's your comfort food when you're like, man, this is a crappy week. I want to like kind of just get connected, reconnect.
Peanuts.
Peanuts?
That's what I was eating earlier. Peanuts.
What a Crosshair thing to
when when I drive to
salted.
Virginia for work, they have delicious peanuts in Virginia. Just so you guys know,
like the boiled ones
they have
that you eat and you just throw
they have
shell?
a snap to them, a freshness that you wouldn't believe. But aside that, I'd say ramen. I love ramen, and we don't have it really here. I got to go to Charlotte for it, which is 40 minutes away.
Dude, ramen is like legit, midnight snack. I'm with you on that one.
I mean, I just lump it in with Japanese food in general. Give me Japanese food, I'm happy camper.
Rainy, what's your go-to?
Torn between two choices. So on one hand, it would be Thai food. So like Thai food, and then on the other end of the spectrum, give me a good kind of Southern barbecue joint. I travel to Atlanta for work a lot, and there's a barbecue place there that I will literally every time I go there, I will go there at least once. I know my route. I've got it memorized from the airport into Fox Brothers Barbecue, and then on up to the hotel from there. So
yeah,
Texas style. Or
it is Texas style. Yeah, it is Texas style.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Tech, what about you?
When we go to DragonCon, we're going to go, Brian.
Next year.
Yes.
Next year.
Next year.
Wait serious a second. FOMO this year.
Before Tech goes about his food, are we doing DragonCon?
It seems to have taken. It seems to have taken on a life of its own.
Next year.
We said it here, and then it got mentioned on a Facebook post, and it's just taken off.
When is that?
Book hotels next
It's
week.
next.
When is that?
It just happened.
It was last weekend.
It just happened.
So it's next year.
Where's that at? Atlanta?
Joe.
Where's that at?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's a huge party.
It's hot.
Like
It's like there's like a pool, right? Is that something else?
It's multiple hotels.
Dude, I'm only wearing
I've
nothing.
seen people
I'm going to
in
wear
costume.
TK, and that's
I don't
it.
know.
I ain't wearing nothing else because it's too damn hot.
Tech with no undersuit.
Let's do it. TK.
I'm already in a bikini. What are you talking about? All right. Sushi, bro.
Techini.
Sushi all day long. Sashimi, sushi, Japanese all day with the good Japanese beer, crispy. Ooh, yes.
Cold
Some
with a little
Sapporo,
ice in
nice
it,
dry
little
beer.
crystal ice.
Now we're talking. Okay, now here's a really good question, tough question, but good
Should
one.
make a
That's
food
deep.
podcast.
And this came from Mag_Pie Girl. Things you do to push yourself out of a rut. And I'm assuming this has to do with like building, maybe being creative. It could be even work related. Maybe you're just in that weekly funk, and you're like, man, what's going on? So with that, what do you do?
I say don't force it. You know what I mean? Maybe you need like with anything, you need to just take a break. Because sometimes if you force it, depends on what it is, but
yeah,
generally you just kind of give yourself a step back, come back to it later.
Taking a step back is good. I usually look for influence like through my peers, like you guys or people I follow on Instagram. If I'm not feeling so creative, usually for props, like at work, I do it because I have to do it, and there's no way out of it.
Right.
But, like prop stuff, like that, you're like, ugh, I don't want to paint this, or like I'm not feeling it. And I'll get in a rut like that. It happens. And yeah, I look at like you guys, or what are you guys working on? Or like some other people I follow on Instagram, like, dang, that looks so good. Like, all right, I got to, like I want to do something now, and that's how I get motivated.
I try and have multiple things that I could work on. That way I can move from one thing to another. And odds are each thing is at a different stage. So one of them might need painting, one of them might need sanding, I might need to sew. And so I can kind of bounce around between a few different projects at a time to break it up. And if I'm not feeling one, I'll just work on something else instead.
Rami, do you think there's always something that's being worked on because you have so much going on? Or is there ever like a time where like, no, like for this month, I'm not doing anything at all. I'm focusing on other things.
I have something going on constantly. That's kind of my nervous fidget is to have some kind of project that I'm working on. And so
yeah,
there's always something. And if I'm not working on it, I start to get twitchy. So, But again, I like my workbench has got probably four entirely unrelated projects sitting on it in various stages of mess. So,
Steven?
I find I actually went through this exact thing like during 2020 like isolation because like I had nothing to work on because there was no point.
There was nothing going on.
No.
So I went in the garage and I was just like there was a scout trooper a biker scout thermal detonator that goes on the back of the belt. And it's like the most basic piece of kit you could work on. It's literally just like a plastic, ABS plastic shell that goes onto a hose with 2 end caps, right? But all I had to do on it was, and it sat on my workbench for at that point at least 3 or 4 years.
Oh man, years.
And so I just grabbed, and I was in that rut of not seeing all my friends and. There was just no motivational, juices flowing. And so I just started cutting that piece and started gluing and it, I had the thing done probably 15 minutes. But when I saw the completed piece sitting on the bench, it was like almost looking back at me.
Ooh.
Just like saying, hey,
hey, keep going.
Keep going. Yeah. And that little thing. Just that little
forget about me.
Yeah, just that little piece just kind of fed into
forget about me.
Sometimes that's all you need, like one little like you don't have to work on a full kit, like because that's daunting on its own.
The brown box.
If you
that's
can work on
Raimi is daunting.
Yeah, but if you can work on one thing, and then you build up from there, because now you're motivated, or at least like, hey, this looks awesome. Keep it going. So yeah, I get that, Stephen.
On the flip side too, though, it's like you guys. I mean, and not necessarily you guys, like in particular, but just different friend groups and build groups, and having the motivational support of like, hey, what are you guys working on? I mean, like we talked about on Workbench earlier, I almost got kind of in a rut. I got discouraged that I didn't get to work on anything this week, but hearing you guys complete all your stuff and seeing Raimi bust out a completed echo arm for his microphone, it's got me motivated. I want to get in the garage tonight.
That thing is amazing.
Little fire puncher.
I'm looking at my
Kudos,
little tech
Echo.
glasses, and there's a little tech tier looking at your echo arm. It's like it's beautiful.
Very nice.
We all put our own personal spin on ours, so I'm anxious to see what
I'm going to redo.
I want to see what Wrecker's going to do now. You need like a little bandana around yours, Sean.
That's not a bad idea, but I think I'm going to do chrome, not gold. I guess I don't know. We'll see. I might paint that too. Who knows?
Wrecker needs a gonk
Lula.
droid hanging off his mic, like a big gonk droid,
or just paint the doll,
out, pushing it up, overhead presses.
You'll see.
Oh,
Wow.
challenge!
Now you have to delay.
I just wanted to go last so I could wreck all you guys.
Nice.
I'm repainting.
Sometimes I just want to blow stuff up.
Yeah, and then
I'm not scared.
That was awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Yippers.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Republic, Empire, what's the difference?
Conversations with Crosshair. Hey, how you doing, Brian?
I haven't heard that one in a while. I wanted to just say fine, but I got distracted. I got a couple of things I can talk about. 2 things. And no one really cares about this. Probably no one even wants to hear it. But I do a bunch of jiu-jitsu, and because I do a bunch of jiu-jitsu, I like to watch the UFC. I like to watch MMA fighting, and there's a fun fight on this weekend with Nate Diaz. I'm pretty excited about it because he's cool. And then secondly, everybody go listen to the Armor Party.
Dude.
That's right.
Wrecker was on there.
It was so good.
Stevie Kicks, with our boy Hondo Supply, Mike Forrester, who is a complete podcasting legend.
He's a pro.
He is a pro. And he is the best.
Steven,
podcaster.
You sounded great. You sounded great. Great episode.
You crushed it,
with
man.
Mike.
10
Loved it.
out of 10.
I
was listening
I
all day.
texted Mike right after I finished it, and I said, that was wholesome AF. And you are a pro.
Alpha Force?
That's it. That is the Armor Party Show, hosted by Hondo Supply, a.k.a. Mike Forrester.
That's good.
Featuring our friend, Stevie Kicks.
I want to talk about it, but I don't, because I want people to go to Armor Party and listen to it.
Go listen.
Yeah,
go
exactly.
listen. Go listen. Go listen. It was a good episode.
It was a good episode,
Kudos,
and it
Stevie.
was, I mean, Chris Bartlett's a hard act to follow, and you did good. So, well done.
Dude.
Thank you.
Chris who?
Exactly.
Love the Predator story.
I know. Origin
And
stories.
loves hearing.
It was really neat. Don't spoil it for people. Don't. You know. Let them go listen.
You posted the picture too, right?
He did.
But it's a good story.
He
It's a
did.
good story.
And you didn't almost throw up sushi in your mouth when you talked to Mike, so that was a good thing.
We're progressing.
I was telling my wife this morning about the show because when it dropped, she's been bugging me. She wanted to listen to it, so she's been bugging for the link. And when it finally dropped this morning, I was telling her, the story about my first costume, and we were brushing our teeth this morning. And she goes, "I have that picture," and I was like, "No way."
Is that how you posted it?
Yeah, she pulled out the.
Is that a
the little-
Polaroid? What was that, a hard copy?
It's like a 4x6.
It's a hard copy.
Gosh.
Film.
It's like a
Not
photograph.
digital.
Yeah, like an actual photograph. So I had to take one with
Used
my
to have
iPhone.
those kids.
It was those little throwaway cameras where you take a picture and you roll the thing. Click,
Yeah, the
click,
disposable.
click, click, click.
Pictures used to be printed. Back in my day, they weren't digital. We did sketches of people.
Shout out to Georgina, Stevie's wife.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
That's it. And shout out to Nate Diaz for his last fight in the UFC. No one cares about here, but John watches. John watches the UFC a little bit.
I watch. I like
Nate
it.
Diaz, dude. Stockton slap. Come on.
I know. Yeah, I know who he
I'm
is.
from the Bay Area, so I
Loudmouth.
got a little love there. He's a
Loudmouth.
loudmouth.
Brian, I was watching a
guy.
clip of you and Levi go at it, and she kicked your butt.
Uh-oh.
Yep, she is a savage, and Amy is angry at John right now.
I'm glad we're
Levi's-
winding down because I got to.
Oh, John.
Levi's getting-
This is Dad Batch, bro.
Levi's
You better
getting
go
gnarly.
in. Grab that kid.
And now Levi's doing weight training in school, so I'm really in for it. So,
Dude, it's Thor and
Crosshair out.
Well, I think that does it for a really good episode 6, in my opinion. But yeah, that pretty much does it. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening to us. If you like what we do, give us a good review on your podcast app. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have no idea what we're doing over there on YouTube, so please just go there, subscribe. We're trying to grow it.
Stevie got tired of editing.
Well, we don't exactly make it easy for him. Technical difficulties, goofing around.
You can email us
Eating and
questions at
drinking.
dadbatchpod@gmail.com. You can follow me, Stevie Kicks, on all the socials. And like these fine gentlemen said, you can catch me on the Armor Party podcast on the Thank the Maker Network.
yes. Good job.
Tech, Joe, where can people find you?
Tech.badbatch on all the socials.
Brian, where can people find you?
Sipping ain't easy, because it ain't.
Did you break something?
He just broke BD1.
Oh.
Snapped a leg off.
Oh, the baby. What's up, Amy?
Hi, Amy.
Okay.
Amy.
John, where can people
Pick a
find
winner,
you?
Amy. At Alpha Ignition on the socials.
And Raimi,
That's it.
where can people find you, sir?
Thedadbatch.com.
There you go.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. That does it for episode 6. Everybody, we will see you next week for episode 7. And remember, enjoy your spice responsibly.